What's up, guys? Brent Hess here with Cagezilla Unchained, brought to you by the Wild Style Network. I'm here with Liam Panero. He's going to be on our upcoming Cagezilla 82 card, December 14th. Excited to have you on, Liam. Thank you for your time. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good. We just finished up training here at Kaizen, so can't be a bad day.
That's right, man. Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your day and joining us here. I know you just finished up a good training session probably. And let's get right into it, man. Give us a little bit of your background, a little bit of your journey, and what kind of led to this point in the sport for you.
For me, this is like I've always kind of been obsessed with problem solving. I've always been kind of like a weirder kid, especially in high school. In that sense, my sport in high school though, like it wasn't anything combat related. I was a cyclist actually. I didn't do any like physical training other than like cardiovascular training, but I worked my way up to a good level. I was on like a regional development team. I got to go around the US racing a bit. At the end of the day though, like you're 155-pound high school kid who's never done anything like strong or like powerful like that in your life. And one of my best friends was a martial artist. He taught me a sidekick. And then another one of my friends came back from his summer camp in Canada, and he learned what a triangle was. His cousins up there were full on riding the GSP Canadian wave, and he's like, yo, dude, I gotta show you this. And then like the Henan Huron online Gracie courses were like just coming out, and we did that for 3 months. And after 3 months, I kind of looked at my friend. We did some flying triangles in a basement. We had a little bit of skills, and I was like, hey,
Nice.
maybe we should go to somebody who actually knows what the fuck they're doing. I ended up walking into Mike Stewart's gym up in Maryland, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Maryland at the time. It's been rebranded to Rising Tide. That's where I started. And I started that my senior year of high school. I would drive 40 minutes. I started it right when I had gotten like full clearance on my license and all that. And then when I went to NYU, I wanted to continue it. We also like McGregor fought Dennis Seaver. After me and him had done our like second week of the online classes. So I had always gone into jujitsu with fighting in mind. I never went in like you had the whole Gracie story and all that. That was my dad actually in some odd way was a part of UFC one. He worked in the cable industry and was a part of the pay-per-view
Wow.
side of that. So like there's all these like weird connections. But then I went to NYU. I'd started. I wanted to continue doing this cool thing I'd found. I walked into Marcelo Garcia's gym, and Marcelo Garcia is a great guy, but his gym did not really welcome me. I did not feel great walking in there. So I looked around, and then I stumbled into the Renzo Gracie Academy. And like that's like Mike Stewart was a really great role model in terms of just like self development and the idea of like, hey, this can be a thing to grow yourself positively. But like the 3 years I was at Renzo Gracie was the 3 years where the Don Hurt Death Squad came up. I was like on the
Mm.
blue mats with those in the blue basement. That's what taught me what trying to achieve excellence in the sport was. Now, I was never like a high level guy in that room. Like Don Hurt definitely doesn't remember my name like that. I'm not gonna spout out like that. I was a white belt who became a blue belt in that room. Like I was nobody special. But the juniors of the squad, Andrew Hooper, Manny, the guys who were like traveling around with Gary Tonin, the blue belts in the room who were tapping black belts in the grappling industry tournaments. They saw me putting extra work. They appreciated it. They invited me to do the extra work with them. And one day I got a text like, "Hey, what are you doing this for?" It was like I came back. GSP was preparing for his Madison Square Garden card. I started to actually like have one of them like really like do private lessons with me, and I got a text like, are you in this for like a journey or are you in this to fight? And that was the first time anyone asked me. I was in it to fight. Um, I tried to do a bunch of other stuff. And every single time I've chose this sport, I've chose to give myself to it more. Life got better. Every time I tried to do something that was more normative, um, uh, more stick to the path laid before you, life got worse. So that's kind of like when I came back to Maryland, I lived in California. Mike Stewart was nice enough to give me a job. That's when the whole rebrand to Rising Tide Academy happened. Tony Waldecker had always talked about, hey, down in Virginia, the real pro fighters over at Kaizen. He worked with them. So Tony let me gave me the intro, and then like Kaizen just welcomed me. I was there for 2 times a week, weak, skinny kid. Eventually started doing strength training at the job I have now full time, quantum movement. They really like they took me from somebody who wanted to be a martial artist to an athlete capable of doing this. I had 5 herniated discs in my neck prior to ever stepping into a cage for the first time.
Wow.
And then when COVID happened, I moved back down to the DMV like full time. And so COVID was honestly like the thing that pushed me out of Baltimore. My parents were just like, nah, like we don't know what's happening in the world. Don't be in Baltimore when we don't know what's happening in the world. I was lucky; they were lucky to be like selling a house, and since the housing market wasn't really pushing all that much at the time, I took care of the house. I got to train all the time, and then I figured out the job at Quantum during that time, and was really able to become like not just one of the athletes here, but like a guy that showed I would give everybody work. I'd help everyone out as much as I could with the knowledge that had been given to me, and still try to learn. And that earned me some trust. And now I'm a coach here too.
Yeah, man. No, well, first of all, great lineage coming and having trained with Henzo and stuff up in New York. I'm sure you gained a lot from that and just being around that atmosphere and those people. And now I feel like you've taken a leadership role within where you're at. And because I've seen you in certain athletes' corners and things like that. Tell us a little bit about how fulfilling that is for you, what you've gained from that, and how that kind of also plays into your fight career.
So I have like a little bit of OCD, like legit, like diagnosed. So I've always been somebody that like if I saw something not being done right, I wanted to step in, even if my idea of right isn't necessarily correct, and I can always admit that after the fact. But so when like it wasn't that things were being done wrong here, but like you're right, like when you're around a world championship culture, when you saw an entire room go from we're trying to do this thing to now we've repeated doing it at the highest level, you take notes.
Right.
And that's like what the blue basement like really instilled in me. Like there's a certain way that they like the mentality of drilling, the mentality around like truth seeking. Like it's not good enough that this has been working. It's good enough that we keep asking why does it work and how can we make it better. Um, I got into Kaizen really because I gave my time to people. We've always prided ourselves on our cage work here, and we had a bunch of guys that were really good at it. And the way that I got into my leadership role was those guys weren't necessarily the greatest teachers. Joey would always admit it himself. Joey Marino, I think a 4-1 pro with us here at Kaizen. He he was a savant at cage wrestling, just a savant. Like he'd been to X Factory camp. At one point, the coach out there really wanted him to join their team and move to Denver, and like he didn't end up doing it, but like it was because of that skill. And all I did was I listened to him, I kind of studied it, and me and Alex Lay also here at Kaizen pulled out the information and helped disseminate it. A lot of what I've done is
Nice.
just like in my life, I've just tried to listen, be literate enough to understand, even if like I don't come from a high wrestling pedigree. I haven't won Jiu-Jitsu world championships. I've not gone to Golden Gloves boxing, but from all the people who have those experiences, I listen, I take all the information, I can understand it, and at least I'm literate enough to identify where it fits. So that's been my whole thing. So and here, like the main thing was Zico was going for an LFA title. Zico is one of the Georgian fighters who made it to the UFC out of this camp, and that LFA title was his ticket there. He had a really bad back, and I was a training partner he trusted. And I said, hey, here's your chain wrestling sequence. We're gonna get to the cage. You're gonna go. You can go body lock, you can go single leg, and then you can go double, and then you can just cycle, recycle, cycle. And that combined with the way that Sensei Nima had taught him to enter, that's how he won an LFA title. When I saw like the drill work just happen on like on the highest stage prior to the UFC, that's what made me addicted to coaching too.
That's awesome.
There's like a thing of I always have a distrust in my body's ability to do the sport, just like I've woken up nearly paralyzed. Like that's what 5 herniated discs do to you when like you slip a disc like mid training. Like you wake up the next day, you don't feel like you can move. Getting off my head off my pillow at 2 points in my life has been the scariest activity of the day. So to see that it's like, hey, even if at the end of the day I might not be able with my body to go and achieve everything I want to, at least I know my knowledge worked. Because these guys who have everything that I didn't, and rightfully so, like just by helping them, like I can see it play out, and I can see that the things I've given my life to like bear fruit. That's addicting.
No, that's awesome, man. It sounds like you've gained a lot, and not only you've gained a lot, but you're also giving back, and that must feel good as well. Now, let's get to your fight, man. You got a fight coming up here, December 14th at Cagezilla 82. This is a featherweight champion versus featherweight champion, former featherweight champion, right, at Cagezilla. I know at least, and I held that exact same title myself for quite some time until I, like you guys, kind of gave the title up to turn pro. And so for you guys, and I know, like, for me, I kept my eye, at least one eye, on some of the rising featherweights coming up behind me. Is this guy, is he a guy that you've had your eye on as he's been making his way through Cagezilla, or not really?
I was supposed to debut as an amateur against him in 2019.
Okay.
So I've known of Billy Kirk. I think he tore his ACL. At least we got some word of a knee tear. I've always been this kind of guy. Like I've actually commentated his fights too. It was kind of, I chuckled when I saw his name on the card. Like when I got the offer, it all felt kind of full circle. Like, okay, cool. But I was supposed to debut against him. He got injured, didn't happen. All respect. Like, hey, it makes sense why it took him the extra time to make it to his amateur debut. Cause like the injury I heard he got, like, it's going to take you some time to develop after that. But when I see it, I've always been kind of the guy that's like, give me something to go hunt, give me something to go do. I hate thinking about matchups. Sorry about that. I hate thinking about matchups. I hate getting a name, and I leave it to the coaches. So when I saw that he won the featherweight title, I was like, oh, good for him. Like, as a guy who kind of was pursuing that dream at one point, does it make me think anything more of him? No. I always tell people at Kaizen MMA, we don't make amateur champions. They happen by accident, because that's what happens when you make pros. So he wants to go pro, all power to him. I'm going to respect him. I'm preparing like he's someone who's trying to hurt me.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, 145-pound champion against former 145-pound champion. Somebody's must go. And, I know why I'm drawn to this matchup at Cagezilla 82, but tell the fans a little bit about your energy, how you're feeling, and what can they expect on December 14th.
It's all respectful violence. It's all respectful violence. That's all it is. At the end of the day, like, if you line up against me, like, there's nobody who gets into fighting because life went right. Like, we all got stuff in our head that's going on, like, right before we make that walk. You wanted to sign a contract, and so that you're willing to hurt me and make it harder to say my grandchildren's names later in life. Bet. I'm going to come back with that energy and a smile.
I like that, man. Yeah. And you guys, Kurt coming from a great team, Evolve, and you from Kaizen, this is really
that was the first thing Sensei Nima actually said to me. He, when the matchup first came through, when I first got it, Sensei Nima, that was the Sensei Nima trying to say that he trusted me. He was like, hey, this kid comes from a good gym. They don't put out people who aren't prepared. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I know his coach, Mike Moses, pretty well. And like I say, Kaizen and Nima, you guys put out some great fighters as well. So this is really going to be a good one for the fans. I believe it's the co-main event of the night. So I'm really looking forward to it. Before we finish up here, Liam, share with us a little gem, a little quote, a motto, maybe something that you live by, or something your coaches have shared with you that maybe you can help empower our audience with.
Mine's, some people don't necessarily like mine, but I'm Buddhist. So this is actually like a bodhisattva mantra, but it's, we have nothing, we know nothing, we understand nothing. A lot of people hear that and they think it's like some people chuckle because I can kind of talk out my ass a little too much. But some people don't like that because it feels defeating to them. To me, it's freeing though. Like, the whole thing about like why I respected the Henzo culture. Like I was an engineering student. Like I like math and science. I believe in the scientific method. I believe in uh, question, test, evaluate, repeat. That is, and if your cup is too full, you will never intake anything new. So it's always a humbling thing to remember that we have nothing, we understand nothing, we know nothing. Nothing is permanent, nothing is set. If you want to go learn something new, all you have to do is open the space in your mind for it.
I love that, man. That's that white belt mentality, just kind of keeping that white belt mentality of, hey, I can always learn something from someone from any perspective. And if, as long as you keep that open mind, you know, because somebody who thinks they know everything, like you say, then they stop learning, right? They stop progressing, and to keep that white belt mentality. I love that, man, about that quote. So, well, hey, Liam, give us a way that we can show you a little love, follow your journey, whether that's your social medias, your team's social medias. Give us a way that we can do that, and like I say, show you guys a little support.
I'm really lucky. I have a hella Irish and hella Italian last name, so most people don't have the mix. Just Liam Panero on the social medias, just at Liam Panero straight through. That's my job is high level performance training for athletes. All we work with is people who want to become better movers, people who are achieving greatness. Right now, I think this year I have four or five D1 commits for basketball. So shout out to Quantum Movement. They're the ones who like really made fighting something I could actually pursue and like be effective at. And that's at Quantum Movement, and then also at Kaizen MMA, Kaizen _ MMA, and also shout out my fiance Jess. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. No, I saw you. I saw that you recently, I guess, got engaged, right?
Oh yeah, no, and her dad and the head coach of the Marymount team, where my fiance is the assistant coach, of just led our wrestling practice today too. So fighting's now a family affair.
Wow, man. Well, first of all, congratulations on that, and to you and your family, and what that may lead to, which is hopefully something beautiful. Everyone, make sure you guys are coming out to see Liam Panero here December 14th at Cagezilla 82. You can pick up your tickets now live at cagezilla.com, and you can actually use code Kaizen as a promo code to support their team and get a discount on your tickets. Liam, thank you once again for taking some time out today to join us, and we'll see you very soon. I hope training and everything keeps going well.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. Until next time on Cagezilla Unchained, we'll see you guys. Much love and respect. We'll see you guys all very soon.